So Caitlin and I dated for quite a while, it was a few years. We had our son before we were married. I didn't want to marry someone just because I was having a child and make a rush decision into something like that. And I proposed to her after our son was born.
After Will and I got married, we definitely had issues with communication.
At the time, we're living for ourselves and really honestly had a lot of selfish ambitions, and we didn't really work through a lot of the premarital stuff that I think we really should have. She brought to me some of her concerns, and I looked at her in the face and said, I don't really care.
I just remember feeling like I felt neglected. Decisions were made that weren't the best. And there was an affair that happened and kind of crushed our whole marriage. So he, discovered all of this from my phone, and I started out the night by denying it, and the conversation kept going, and we took our time to think, and I came to him and I was honest, and I told him everything.
I remember taking her ring from her during the arguing, and because I wasn't sure that I wanted to continue in this marriage, considering obviously there's a lot to unpack, through an affair. But I told her one of the things that I knew needed to happen was that we needed to do something different, and that for me it was important that something different be us making a commitment and going to church.
So this led to a couple months later getting the Mosaic mailer in the mail, and I brought it to Will, and I was like, hey, let's go check out this church.
Coming into Mosaic for the first time for me, hearing what grace and truth actually were, and the second chances, never heard anything explained as simply but applicably. Two things that I loved about Mosaic going into it is that we took communion every week, but then we were also encouraged that if you haven't given your life to Christ, to do it now and get baptized. I'd already been baptized, and so the one thing for Caitlin, me knowing that she hadn't been baptized, was having a conversation with her about baptism and what that looked like. If you're following Christ, he calls us to get baptized.
And at the end of January that month, I got baptized, and it was an amazingly freeing feeling. Throughout this whole journey, our marriage started in a rocky place, both living in our selfish ways and moving forward. Jesus has really helped us learn how to communicate with one another, what forgiveness looks like.
So what I would say to the people that gave to the Upside Down campaign that made that mailer possible is that you're the reason my wife and I are here. We have hope now in our marriage. I just want to say thank you for your generosity.
We know there's people out there that are struggling with the same thing, or maybe even other things, and they're really having a hard time coming to terms with that. So we give so that we can reach more people and ultimately bring people in so they can hear the gospel, they can learn about Jesus, and they can make that step towards following Jesus.